Hello and welcome. And it looks like my sound is good today. That's awesome. Today we're going to talk about, does your online business even need an LLC? Previous videos we talked about online businesses, what you're looking at, what different types of businesses, how YouTube can help you grow your business, why you should be on YouTube. But today we're going to talk about just a little bit of legal stuff in regards to whether you even need an LLC. And it really depends. So don't be surprised if you end up changing your mind here, because you may be, just bear with me. It's worth sticking around for, right? So before we begin, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. If you're new here, make sure you leave in the comments or the chat where you're from and what type of business you have. I'd love to get to know you and what you're looking for. Because I'd love to bring you content that's more relevant to what you're looking for. So if you have something you'd like a video done about, or a live video to show up, number one, and number two, if not, leave that comment below, and I'm happy to take a look at doing a video or doing a live video on them. Before we kind of dive into the do you or don't you, we need to first kind of just suss out, need to talk about what an LLC or a limited liability company is. Because if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I'm just saying you need to understand what it is. A limited liability company is a legal entity that is granted by your respective state. That's a lot of words to say that it's a business. And unlike a sole proprietor, which is just you doing work, business in your name, an LLC is something that's recognized by the state as separate from yourself. Okay. And with that LLC comes certain pros and cons, pluses and minuses, benefits, things that you need to be aware of. Number one, it is a legal entity, which means that it can technically be taken away from you if you make bad choices. So don't make bad choices, but I digress. So because it's a legal entity, you have to keep up with some certain requirements from the government. Now, I'm not going to touch bases with all of those, but just know that it's not as simple as doing business for yourself. But the purpose of an LLC is not only to establish a separate business from yourself, but also to provide you, the owner of the business, with liability protection. Now, liability protection from what? Well, lots of things, but not everything. Remember, it says limited liability. It doesn't say complete immunity company, right? So it provides you limited liability from the claims, your personal assets, from claims of creditors, as well as if, for instance, you're sued and there's a judgment against you, and that's a judgment creditor, then the LLC has to pay that money and be liable for it, as opposed to you as a person. Now, there's some exceptions to that, and we're not going to talk about, but it's called piercing the corporate veil. And so what you're looking here is that you're given these opportunities by starting this separate entity that you wouldn't otherwise be given, but it comes at a small price, like keeping up with your corporate formalities, which for an LLC just simply means your operating agreement, as well as making sure your taxes are paid. So that is like a very base level of what an LLC is. So I've done exhaustive videos on this in the past. So please don't think that this very few minute that we've talked is anything more than that. It's just a very brief overview, so you kind of have an understanding of what we're talking about. The liability protection is conditioned on your compliance with the law, right? If you start an LLC with the intent or end up defrauding your investors or the people that are loaning you money, then they will revoke that limited liability company. They will come after you from a personal perspective. So don't think that it's the catch-all, or the end-all be-all, right, of everything that you do regarding a business. You would be making a big mistake if you did that, and I would be doing bad job as an attorney if I told you that you could do whatever you wanted with